if you're a music buff or someone who has lots of old records and tapes stashed away somewhere in your home, then there's an event this weekend where you can buy, sell, or trade old albums, CDs, and other music-related items. Wayne McLaughlin helped organize the Music City Collectors Convention, and he's brought along some of his oldest collector's items to show us today. And the first one that you saw just a moment ago looks very, very rare, is it?
Yeah, those are pretty rare. Those are gold picture disc, and that was the first of about 60 that company put out.
How old is it?
It goes back to about the late 30s, 40s.
Wow.
I don't know the exact date on that. But
pictures on both sides, too. Let me show you the other side. Did I get that straight? I can't quite. There we go. Yeah, that is just beautiful. And you say this is very fragile.
Oh, yeah. They're just like a 78, which they'll break if you look at them. If you pick up more than a handful, sometimes they'll crack.
Wow. This is unusual, too. I don't recall ever seeing a 78 record that's this thick. First, before I show you the front of it, look how thick this is. Look at that. Tell us about this one.
Okay, that's an early 78. You don't see many of those things, and they only have maybe a $5, $10 value. You know, music is collectible because of the music, and that's just sort of something you can hang on your wall or something. It still plays, but it's real thick, and it was just an early 78.
Interesting looking. I imagine a lot of folks do have things just stashed in the attic or whatever that really could be worth some money.
Yeah.
Let's show you some other ones here that are really interesting. You say this is one of your most collectible ones?
Oh, yes. That's one of my favorites out of my own collection. And
tell us about it.
Well, it's early stereo, and Jack Scott, to me, was one of the great voices in 50s music, and most of that's true stereo, which is pretty rare at that time when stereo was first being introduced.
This is interesting too because there are felt letters right here. The stereo is kind of made out of felt, which is which probably makes it even a little more rare.
You see them printed, and they're easier to find.
That's really neat. This one looks like a movie poster. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's very colorful. Paul Newman, Joanne Woodward, that's A Long Hot Summer, which is the soundtrack from that movie, and beautiful, beautiful artwork. And a very young Paul Newman.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How much would this one be worth?
Oh, probably in the neighborhood of about $75.
Wow, that's great. Here's one that certainly is a hot collectible item. This is a double album, right?
Right.
Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah, and the artwork on that, they have her with blue eyes, but it's still a beautiful package.
Yeah, and that probably makes it a little more unusual, too.
Unusual, you know, it's a nice wall item.
Yeah, that's really nice. Now, here's something for rock and roll fans who know Fleetwood Mac. They'll certainly know these names.
Right, that's early 70s before Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks joined Fleetwood Mac. And this is an effort on their own. That's probably about a $50.
Wow. And take a look at this for the country fan.
Right.
Several good things. Jim Reeves right here.
Right.
Look at this. I love the artwork on this one.
The colors, you know.
That's beautiful. And one more here for another Nashville favorite. Take a look at that.
Right, Dinah Shore.
That's great. How would you know if some of the things that you have up in your attic are collectible?
Well, we have price guides and so forth. There's a lot of price guides. Of course, at the convention, you know, if a person has something and they're kind of curious about it, they can bring it, walk around, kind of get an idea of what other people are selling things for, or approach the dealers if they want to sell a few. All the dealer space is already taken. We have a want list. I mean, a waiting list for the dealer.
I guess the more unusual things probably fetch the greatest amount of money. And this little 45 record, I would imagine, even though it's a little more new, is probably quite unusual.
Well, it's a Springsteen interview, actually on a 7-inch 45.
Wow.
And it's not terribly rare, but it's a nice piece, and I collect Springsteen, so.
Yeah, that's really nice. Tell us about this one here.
Okay, Gene Krupa, that's a 10-inch. That format is kind of rare because not a lot of people bought the 10-inch. It was kind of something that just kind of sat on the shelf. A lot of people didn't buy them, and so those usually have a higher value than their LP counterparts.
Yeah. Do you see records disappearing in terms of being the major form of the way people buy music? I mean, are CDs going to take over so much that records will be obsolete eventually?
Well, for the average person, it probably already is, but for people that are deep into music and want the best sound, a lot of those 50s things sound so much better on the LP.
Yeah.
And it's just that you can still buy records.
And how do you store these items, too, to make sure that they maintain their value?
When I keep them in heavy plastic sleeves and try to make sure they're always stored upright as opposed to laying on top of each other, which might press the grooves together.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can find out a lot of great information this weekend at the Music Collectors Convention. It's this Sunday at the Airport Days Inn, right?
That's correct. Raleigh Parkway near I-40.
Great. And I'll put all the information on our Talk of the Town hotline if you'd like to find out more. So take some albums, CDs, music paraphernalia out there. Maybe you'll make some good deals. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
It's really interesting.
Thank you.
Still to come, winning recipe from the State Fair, so stay tuned. We'll have that and a lot more when we continue.